ice on the boat. Winnie had a demanding job that took him touring all over the country and occasionally around the globe. The places he had to go to often had picturesque and exotic locations, but he could hardly ever enjoy their beauty as his work schedule was almost always crowded with meeting people or visiting industrial plants and machinery. The visit to Hamburg, Germany, a few years into the past was in no way different, but for the fact that he perforce got a window of 3 days in between his assignments. He decided to make the best of this God sent opportunity by pushing in a short sightseeing tour Copenhagen, a popular tourist destination of neighboring Denmark. Since both the countries are part of the European Union, there was no hassle of obtaining a visa. He decided to ride German Ice Express, that is, Intercity Express, which had the added attraction that the train itself would ride a boat as part of the journey. The train takes 4 hours and 45 minutes to reach Copenhagen from Hamburg, including the boat ride. He boarded the Ice Express originating from Berlin at Hamburg, lugging his light suitcase and the backpack around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He found the train to be a technological marvel, sleek outside and comfortable inside, and the snow covered countryside of northern Germany whizzing past at close to 200 km per hour. The train stopped at Puttgarden railway station, a border town of Germany close to the coastline of Baltic Sea, where the electric engine of the train was replaced by a diesel one. The 6-bogie train was slowly hauled onto the matching rail tracks fixed to the lower deck of a homogeneous ferry moored at the jetty. There was yet one more rail track next to the one on which Winnie's train slid so smoothly that he didn't experience even a minor jolt. In the large space to the right of the rail tracks, he noticed several cars and trucks lined up for the sea journey to Denmark. The passengers were told on the public address system of the train in German, Danish, and English languages to leave all their belongings in the train, excepting cash and valuables, proceed to the upper decks of the ferry, and return to the train exactly within 45 minutes. They were further informed that by this time the ferry would have crossed the sea and reached the Danish port of Rodi, and the train shall resume its onwards journey on land thereafter. Winnie left his luggage on the rack above his seat and stepped down to the deck, which was slightly rocking with the waves. The ferry had started its 45 minutes journey on the Baltic Sea. The upper deck was well lit and had several duty free stops, restaurants offering multiple cuisine catering to the international taste, and an open deck where one could lounge and have a view of the deep blue water and waves of the sea from close quarters. The uppermost deck offered a 360-degree unrestricted view of the sea and the coastlines of both Germany and Denmark, winter sunshine, and the seagulls fluttering by. One could see multitude of windmills apparently standing on the sea off Denmark coast, slowly spinning with the wind. It is said that almost one-fifth of the country's electricity requirement is provided by this green source. The boat offered environment where the intercity express traveler could conveniently spend the whole day enjoying the sights and facilities on board, forgetting that he was on a ferry for just 45 minutes journey. A large shop with a sign gifts and gifts in English and maybe the same sign in German and Danish beckoned Winnie to its interiors. He ambled into the shop and bought some trinkets for his wife and a few electronic gadgets for his sons. Since he had a good lunch in the train soon after boarding, he didn't feel like eating anything heavy and he decided to have just a cup of coffee in the food zone. Looking at his watch, he found that he had just enough time for enjoying an eyeful from the top deck, click some pictures on his camera for sharing the moments with his wife and children back home, and maybe a short siesta on a deck chair thereafter. Reclining in the luxurious deck chair, strains of music from the lower deck wafting in the air, caressing sea breeze, warmth of sunshine, and slight rocking of the boat on the waves did magic to his senses, and soon he fell in deep sleep. The repeated exhortations on the PA system of the ferry to all passengers of ice to move down to the lowest deck to board their train failed to awaken him. Fierce shriek from a stray seagull flying overhead suddenly brought him to his senses, and he got up with a start. The deck was bereft of all passengers. A quick look at his wristwatch threw him into panic. It was only 5 minutes to the departure time of the Intercity Express to Copenhagen. He climbed down 2 steps at a time to the intermediate deck, but in his confusion failed to locate any one of the 2 stairs down to the parking deck. He asked a janitor the way down to the train, but this man was apparently of German origin, not knowing English at all. But finally, Winnie's frantic gestures conveyed his predicament, and the guy led him to one of these exits. By the time Winnie reached the parking deck, again climbing down 2 steps at a time, the train had moved out on the rail track well into Denmark, and he could see the rapidly receding lights of its tail lamps. There was no train on the other track, too, or he might have boarded the wrong train, landing up in a different destination. Obviously, the running staff of his train had failed to do a head count before blowing the start whistle. Yes, the train has moved off with Vinny's passport, his documents, including the return ticket, clothes, and all his worldly possessions in the belly of coach number 4. The rationalization threw him in cold sweat. How will he ever recover his belongings in this foreign land where people don't understand his language and he theirs? Being unable to think of a course of action at the spur of the moment, he decided to give the train a chase. He ran for all he was worth on the flat, snow covered land by the side of the rail track, keeping pace with the tail lights of the departing train. His shoes dug heel deep in the soft snow, but he kept on running with grit and determination. Slowly, the tail lights grew larger as the train had halted at the next station, which is very, very close to the harbor. With a fresh burst of speed, he came abreast the last coach of the train and hoisted himself up into the coach through the rear entrance door. By this time, the train had started moving. Vinny rushed through coaches and vestibules, looking for his familiar window seat and his luggage parked in the top rack. The reunion with his belongings brought a surge of respect from anxiety, and Vinny sank into his seat with unbounded relief. He patted himself on the back for deciding to take the marathon sprint into the unknown, and also Dame Luck for her wake up call in the form of a seagull. Thank you very much. Now, some of the words used in the above passage and their meanings. The visit to Hamburg, Germany, a few years into the past was in no way different, but for the fact that he perforce got a window of 3 days in between his assignments. Perforce, Perforce, perforce means because it was necessary. Since both the countries are part of the European Union, there was no hassle of obtaining a visa. Hassle, Hassle, hassle means irritating inconvenience. He boarded the Ice Express, Intercity Express, originating from Berlin at Hamburg, lugging his light suitcase and the paperback around 1 o'clock. Lugging means to pull or carry. The 6-bogie train was slowly hauled onto the matching rail tracks fixed to the lower deck of a humongous ferry moored at the jetty. Humongous, Humongous. Humongous means huge, very large. Moor, Moor. Moor means to tie a boat so that it stays in the same place. Looking at his watch, he found that he had just enough time for enjoying an eyeful from the top deck, click some pictures on his camera for sharing the moments with his wife and children back home, and maybe a short siesta on a deck chair thereafter. Siesta, Siesta. Siesta means an afternoon rest or nap. The deck was bereft of all passengers. bereft. B-E-R-G-F-T. Bereft means lacking. He patted himself on the back for deciding to take the marathon sprint into the unknown, and also Dame Luck for her wake up call in the form of a seagull. Dame Luck means unexpected luck. Seagull, Seagull. Seagull means a bird that lives near a sea. Thank you very much.